welcome to our captain's farewell party. As you know, tomorrow we will finish our cruise. I think we've already enjoyed the beautiful this cruise. And before you leave, our captain here, Mr. Gong Zhifan, would like to bid a farewell speech to everybody. So let's have a big hand for our captain.
谢谢。尊敬的女士们、先生们，下午好！感谢各位嘉宾的光临。短暂的旅游航行即将结束，在这分别之际，请允许我代表仙庭人全体员工，再次感谢诸位选择仙庭人游览观光长江，给我们一个为你服务的机会。我衷心希望各位对我们的工作留下宝贵的意见和建议。最后，祝愿各位旅途愉快，身体健康，恭贺各位再次光临，谢谢。
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And first of all, welcome to our captain's farewell party. As you know, tomorrow we're gonna depart as new friends. But however, a couple of days ago we met only as strangers. And we think you've already enjoyed the beautiful scenery of the Three Gorges as well as the services provided by our staff. As you know, in a few years, the Three Gorges will be the great change, and we do welcome you back. Come back to the Three Gorges and come back to our Princess Elaine in the near future. And we do appreciate you if you can take a few minutes to fill in our evaluation forms, which will be helpful and useful to our program developments. And finally, on behalf of all the staff and the crew members on the Princess Elaine, wish you a very pleasant onward journey. Thank you, everybody.
我提议为各位嘉宾的身体健康干杯。
All right, to toast to everybody's present Three Gorges trip and a toast to your health. Cheers.
干杯。
Yeah, in Chinese, 干杯, or buttons up.
Well, here we are, and this is, of course, our last day on the Yangtze River. You know, this was a great trip, Betty. I mean, 5 days on the Yangtze River, and we got to see so much. It was just so exciting.
Some of it was not as exciting, but all of it was wonderful. Just, you know, because when you're on a boat and it's tranquil, I mean, that's what I'm thinking about, the word exciting.
Yeah.
It was excitingly tranquil. How's that?
That's a good one. Okay, that's great.
What is that?
Well, that's part of a bridge. That's one of the new ones that they're building in the area where we are right now. And we can see that we just went underneath that. And some of our people here, of course, enjoying the captain's little farewell party that he had for us. And then after that, people were getting their picture taken and with the captain as such.
Hi, Rico. Hi, Bill. She waved to us. That's the least we can do is say hello back.
Oh,
huh?
yeah, I'll tell you. And do you know he's a great dancer?
We're going to find that out, aren't we?
Yeah, you're going to see that. I'll tell you, I didn't realize how great he was. Well, I'll tell you, we celebrated some anniversaries and birthdays on this particular trip, too, and it was very nice that here was the last day that we were able to do that. This is the area in the ship where we ate, and, oh, the people were so great.
Gentlemen, have you folks been having a fun time on the Yangtze River? Tonight, we have a great performance, a great program planned out for you. We have dances and songs from different parts of China and also from different parts all over the world. So we're going to have a great time together tonight. First, we're going to start off with a dance that comes from the Forbidden Palace. It's basically about the emperor, and I guess he's choosing his concubines for the evening. So please enjoy.
Well, I'll tell you, that was really interesting to see the concubines dancing there.
Yeah,
but we had more fun, Betty. Look, we've got a lot of our people in here doing that balloon
This
thing.
was a game that we do this at parties, or we used to do it a lot. But we'd do it with an orange, and you would put it under your chin.
You
and
get a little closer.
Yeah, and, it was fun. And especially if it's boy-girl kind of thing. And, it was fun.
Well, this was a lot of fun, too.
Oh, Catherine, she just enters into everything. She's just like her mother. She's just
great.
a neat gal.
They had a lot of entertainment. In fact, a lot of homegrown entertainment that night on the boat, too. There were several people that wanted to do some entertainment. There were some singers and some other dancers, too. And then everybody did the Macarena.
The Macarena is such
I didn't see you up there doing
I
that.
didn't do that. I don't know why I was so sedate that night, but I just really didn't do much.
Did you have a little of the captain's wine before? At
Oh, it was
cocktail party?
awful.
You're right. It
I
wasn't.
sipped
The
it,
wine was
though.
not
No,
too
I
great,
sipped
yeah.
it. But and it was so crowded. I like to have a little, really swing it when I get out there.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a tiny dance floor.
It was minute. But that's all right, because Rico and Bill made up for me when they had. They did a great
dance,
job.
right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And this was so nice too, because this is the entertainers and part of the crew that was on the ship too. This is what amazed me, is that they were entertaining, almost every night on the ship, besides doing their other.
There we go.
Hey,
Here's the stars of the show.
How about that?
I'm so glad you did this, because oh my gosh, their kids will have a ball.
They had a ball.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. And in fact, they're signed up to travel with us again this year, so that's a lot of fun. And we had some really, really great folks with us on this particular trip, too. And Betty has, just going to remind you that Betty has a lot more trips in store for us, and at the end of the show, we'll give you the telephone number so that you can get in touch with Betty, so that she can send you some brochures on those trips that we do have coming up. And we're thinking even more now, we're planning into the future just exactly what we're going to do.
For next year. But you know what? As I review this trip of ours to China, I really want to put it on my list for 2 years.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
years.
That would be nice. Now, this is where it's marked in red. I did this a couple of times because there were two different maps here, and I never got to the end of where we actually wound up at. I'm going to say the name wrong. I call it Chungking, and I think that's what we did. But
That's those noodles that you buy at the
that's the only way I can.
noodles.
That's the only way I can remember the name of the city, but it's not pronounced that way. We'll find out the correct pronunciation of it, though, a little bit later on in the show. Anyway, you can see in 5 days we covered a lot of territory.
Was that what the route that we took?
Yeah, that was the route that we took.
Okay.
And you can see now, the river also has another name, as you can see right here. But we know it as the Yangtze River. And here's where we got on, was in Wuhan, and then continued out. But Betty, the reason I wanted to show this is because look at the various lakes and other rivers that are tributaries to the Yangtze River. I mean, all of the blue that you see right there that represents naturally the water, and there was a lot of water. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would never have known.
So you know that this is a very, very fertile area of China. And again, of course, that's where a little bone of contention when they're going to dam that up, whether or not that is going to take away a lot of farmland, and whether or not the people will be relocated to other areas that are just going to be as fertile as that area around the Yangtze River.
The thing that's amazing to me as I look at this map is how it meanders the river. It's truly a meandering. And you would think there would have been more erosion taking place because of, there probably is a lot, though. But
Upriver, it is,
when you think of what the rivers have done as far as building cliffs and Yosemite is, that's glacier, though that wasn't from a river, but
you can see that we talked about the pollution in the river, and that's because it is carrying an awful lot of water down from the area from Tibet right on down, where they took and deforested that whole area. But now they're really into conservation and trying to plant more trees there too. So
there's Lily Garcia and Mrs. Torres, and we all had acupuncture on the ship,
and it worked,
and it was fun. And it was.
I didn't think it was fun.
Well, it was, and not when I say fun, it was an interesting experience.
Yes, it was.
I
thought it was great until they electrified the needles. and then my limbs started jumping all
Oh,
over the
come
table.
on.
It did. I
Oh,
told the
come
guy, I said,
on.
turn it off, which he did. Didn't they do that to you?
No.
He did to me. He
I
put
don't have
little
that.
he put electrodes on the needles and then fired the sucker up, so you were getting electricity through the needles.
Oh, maybe I'm just too dull person to have it take effect. I don't remember
Well, that's
that.
what happened. Anyway, it's time for us to get off of the ship here, and so we're now getting up on the land. So we are unloading now, as you can see, and Betty, the porters here that we see, they're carrying the luggage off the ship. And you know, I don't know if we explained this in one of the other shows earlier, but those porters are hired by the people that are in the various cities, because a lot of the apartment buildings that you see, if they're 10 stories or less, they don't have an elevator. So they hire the porters to, bring the
their
stuff on
food
up. Yeah.
upstairs.
Right.
But this was dear. We laughed about when we got on with our reception with the little band.
All the girl band, right?
Yeah,
uh-huh.
and now to greet us as we leave too. I just think
was
it
wonderful.
was great.
It was great. It was great.
Not that the music was so wonderful, but the hospitality and the joyousness of the people warmed my heart.
It was wonderful. I enjoyed it very much. And you don't see that too much anymore on other cruise lines, but we certainly did here. We were having a lot of fun getting up. And there's a net just so you don't fall in that water anyway. We had a few little steps to climb because we have to get up to the road up here. And, of course, the river level will fluctuate naturally. So sometimes you might not have to walk that many steps, or other times you may have to walk even more. But
that's a very sage thing that you just said. I'm proud of you.
I'd like this. All of the people, and this was one of the gals that waited on our table. They were all there to say goodbye. They were lined up along the way, and we said, "Come and go with us." And she, "Oh no, I can't do that."
Here's Nancy, your local guide from CFTS. In the schedule, now we are going directly to the museum, which is called General Stillwell Museum. I found some of you bought the fans here and cost only $1. Let me tell you a joke about the fans, okay? One day, a gentleman at the pier, he thought he wanted a very cheap fan. They asked for $5, and then finally they came down to $1. But as soon as he opened the fan and used it, it broken. He was so angry and shouted at the girl, "Why you give me such a bad fan?" That girl said, "Sir, listen to me. If you want to buy a fan, also only cost $1. You have to use it like this." Now you are in the city of Chongqing. Chongqing means double happiness, double jubilations. In ancient time, the city Chongqing used to be called the Yuzhou, which is a short form of Chongqing. And Chongqing now became a municipality of China since 1997. You will have the idea that how high the water will be after the Three Gorges Dam project is finished. This is the road we finished 4 years ago. That means we got the information. The water won't come up to this place. You can see the other side, we have already started building the road on the other side as well. So that means the maximum only 15 meters higher than now at the flooding season. Usually only about 10 meters up to Chongqing from the beginning of the dam. You know how far the dam is from Chongqing? 550 kilometers. The city Chongqing, different from the cities you have passed like Beijing and Xi'an, we have no historical relics left. Why? The city was destroyed by Japanese bombing during the Second World War. No historical relics. Only you can see some of the old part of the city up on the hill on your right hand side. So wherever we're traveling in the city of Chongqing, always by the road, one side is the river, the other side is the hill. So the first place on your schedule, General Stillwell Museum. Chongqing during the wartime was the wartime capital, and also it is the Central Theater of CBI. CBI means China, Burma, and India. In 1941, General Stilwell was sent by President Roosevelt to Chongqing. His position here as the chief staff for Kuomintang and also commander of CBI. He made lots of contributions to the anti-Japanese war in China and the war against fascism. In order to commemorate those Americans who contribute themselves to the anti-Japanese war in China, in Chongqing, we set up General Stilwell Museum. But I should say this is the most simple museum, the simplest one in the world, maybe not only in China. Why? Because we set up the museum right on the residential area of General Stilwell. That means during the wartime, he stayed in the house, original house of General Stilwell, and also the Central Theater office of the CBI. So you will have the idea later. Very soon, up on the hill on your right-hand side, you will find another old part of the city, old corner of the city, which started from 1920s up to 1960. Yeah, 1920s to 1960, up on the hill, the old part of the city. But you can find out that not many people are there already. Why? We are going to put down the old part of the city that way. Yeah. And we are going to put on the new residential areas later, quite soon. So not many, are already there. Yeah, the houses there. Yep. And also very typical here, we have no bicycles in the street. This is also very typical. Mountain area, no bicycles. Why? It is too hilly here. You can't ride any bicycles in the city of Chongqing. Most of the time, you have to carry the bicycle on your shoulder. So that's one of the reasons Chiang Kai-shek chose this city as wartime capital during the Second World War. For those kind of weather, foggy, the Japanese couldn't come and bomb the city. So the city was safe during the foggy days. So nickname of the Chongqing, also Foggy Chongqing, Mountain Chongqing, and Foggy Chongqing. Yeah, Foggy Chongqing. So the first place we are going to pay a visit to General Stilwell Museum. Summer 1942, he rested only 1 week and then directly went to the country Burma. At that time, Burma was under the control of the Japanese already, the north part of Burma, and the British and Chinese troops were fighting against the Japanese there. General Stilwell went there. He wanted to win the battles in Burma, and then he can use the Burma Road, which was the only way for Chinese to get supplies from outside China. But even himself lost all the battles in Burma. He had to withdraw from Burma to India, the country of India, and settle down there and train the Grand Force over 10 months. And then he fought back. He took the country of Burma back. For this reason, General Stilwell was given the 4-star general by the president. So they could come anytime they wanted to do. So you see, Chiang Kai-shek's troop, the Air Force only got 37 planes here. So in order to control our own air, General Stilwell asked another famous American, his name Chanel, is Chanel. Chanel was the volunteer group member. Actually, he retired from the army long ago. And by the year United States involved in the war, Chanel back to the army. Yeah, sent by the government, invited by General Stilwell to Chongqing. He set up his famous Air Force, which was called the Flying Tiger later. Yeah, Flying Tiger later. So General Chanel also stayed in Chongqing for quite a long time, totally in China, over 8 years. Deep in the hill, you can find many bomb shelters. Those are the air raid shelters from the Second World War. So that actually, the city of Chongqing was destroyed by Japanese bombing. So in order to protect themselves, the citizens here dug lots of bomb shelters deep in the hill, some underground. The largest one in the downtown area can hold about 20,000 people once, but the smallest ones just for the families. Yeah, families. If you have ever covered the book written by a Chinese writer, she's now living in London. Her name is Han Shuyin. She described the period of the Second World War. My family stayed in one of the bomb shelters near the Jialing River, the branch of the Yangtze on the right-hand side. My little brother stayed in the bomb shelter for the whole week. He doesn't want to go outside to play with little kids. And I wanted to go outside to fetch some water from the Jialing River for the family. Only a pail of water for cooking, for washing, for the whole day. And then the dark came. My brother went outside of the cave and he found his little friend. But suddenly the Japanese come and bombed that area.
Well, those bomb shelters are really interesting that they're still there today, and the people are using them for housing or for storage areas as well. That you figure, that's still left from World War II. That's really
a long
something.
time. Evidently, they didn't have any need to use the materials because so often they destroy something or take it apart because they needed to rebuild somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I think probably because this was in a residential area.
Yeah.
You remember that's where his house was located, and the bomb shelters were right there within that area. And I would imagine that the populace there probably really use those things. And of course, they're using them again now, today, but not as a bomb shelter.
Bradshaw just went by just now, Brad, they call him. He loved this part of the trip. He really, really did. And when I saw the airplane, what they call the Flying Tiger, my neighbor across the street, God rest him, he's not alive anymore. He was a fighter pilot for flew one of those Flying Tigers.
Is that right?
Yes, he did.
Ah, well, this was interesting. This was something that I didn't really know that we were going to do. Some of these buildings, of course, are still left from that particular period during World War II, as we can see, and they operated there out of his home. And of course, this is a residential area, as we mentioned. Betty, I thought these cars were the cutest little things I ever saw.
Well, it'd be really nice to have one here for economical purposes, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you. And look at the colors on them, too. I mean, these were really great. I think they probably
electric?
I don't know.
Battery.
Either that or the guy had to pedal very fast.
Well, he might be inside, huh? With this, we don't see the feet, so maybe.
Yeah, no. I don't think he's pedaling, no. But they carry one passenger, and maybe a few groceries, something like that. But those were really neat. Now, the next little stop that we were going to make is at the zoo. And this was really a fantastic place because they had, the first time I've ever seen anyway, panda bears.
Yeah. I wish I had one right now. I've got bamboo in my backyard I'd sure like to get rid of. Think they would give me if I could import one?
I don't think so. No. And there aren't that many, left in the world, but the Chinese are trying to have some of these, of course, in captivity so that they can, have more breeding on. And then it's interesting, as she was mentioning, that the farmers have now put like a green strip so that between lands that are cultivated so that the panda bears can migrate and visit one another.
Yeah.
Isn't
so
that
then
a good
we
idea?
can reproduce. That's
right.
fine. That's very,
absolutely
very clever.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was a lovely, lovely park-like setting.
It was.
Yeah.
This was one zoo that I was very, very impressed with, and we only got to see a small portion of it, but there was a lot of it. We're going to listen now to our guide, and listen very carefully, if you will, please.
Here, maybe most of the time the panda bear only sleep there, so you can see only the back of the panda. But today they're all sitting there and eating bamboo. I should say this is a very nice group. Yeah. Okay. The lifespan for the panda bear about 30 years. 30 years. But in the zoo, the longest one we call longevity lady, 37 years. In China, the government already set up 12 natural preserve places for panda. Panda live in a forest separated in 6 hills in China. So Sichuan is the largest in number, and also you see other provinces like Gansu Plateau, they also can find the pandas in the forest. But the problem is that the farmers started planting at the bottom of the hills. The rice paddies, the cornfields separated the panda. They couldn't visit each other, so the DNA became so bad. And some of the pandas not so white and black, and they have very little eyes and funny ears. So in order to let them travel visit each other easily, our government set up another 12 natural preserve places for panda in the wild. So altogether, 24. We call long green vegetable corridor. Yeah, long vegetable.
And there's one up in a tree, if you can see,
Yeah.
way up there. But they had several here in the zoo, and I thought they were just really
Aren't they darling?
great.
You know, the
They
one in
were.
the tree made me think of Australia when
Yeah.
they had it. We saw a
We saw a
koala,
koala there,
up
yeah.
there in the tree, and
But you
they're
don't see-
very, very rare.
You don't see too many of those
No,
anymore
no,
either.
They
Yeah,
had a disease
that's
come
true.
in there.
Yeah, that's really too bad. But
But
anyway,
aren't they cute? You just want to squeeze
yeah,
them.
yeah. And this was another one that was there.
That's not
But
as cute.
That's not as cute.
I like
He's
the
got a
plain-
different color.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And there's a little girl. She was there with her parents, and she knew one word in English. Bye.
How cute.
If you're interested in the trips we have coming up, give Betty a call at.
488-7443.
That's right. We have a lot of great trips coming up. Betty has a lot of wonderful brochures, so please give her a call. She'll be happy to send those out to you. Hey, that's all the time we have. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.